great. Let's just dive into some questions. I'm really excited to talk about this topic. So just to start, can you help define what trauma-informed HR is, and where did your passion for this work come from?
Yeah. So trauma-informed HR is really, similar to trauma-informed care. It's an approach that recognizes the trauma and the impact of trauma really on employees, and seeks to create a supportive work environment that promotes healing and well-being. The approach requires an understanding of the effects of trauma on individuals, being sensitive to their needs, and providing a workplace that's respectful and compassionate. It involves promoting a culture of safety, of trustworthiness, transparency that really empowers employees to have choice over parts of their employment, and make choices with regards to aspects of their time at work. And really, by adopting a trauma-informed approach, employers can not only help employees heal from past trauma, resist active re-traumatization, and support them in achieving, their potential, as well as leading to improved employee well-being, job satisfaction, and just overall organizational success. So, it's a real win-win strategy. But yeah, my passion for this work, it's so interesting, and I'll try to be brief because it is a long and windy road that got me here. But I when I first moved to Seattle, I started working at a startup, and I knew that I wanted to get into consulting after kind of doing this work as a generalist in a lot of small organizations. And I knew that eventually I wanted to be a consultant, but I didn't really know why. I knew that I didn't want to do HR internally, but I couldn't articulate why that was yet. And I worked at this small startup, and I had a wonderful mentor there and colleague who said 3 words to me one time that were like branded into my brain. And those 3 words were, work shouldn't hurt. And that's sort of this mantra and motto that I've really brought into a lot of this work. And I think that in realizing how much we unintentionally, but that a lot of the function of HR actually creates a lot of harm and causes a lot of harm. And it's not intentional, right? I think that, and it's really sad also because a lot of us come into this work because we want to be helpers. We want to be supportive people in the workplace, and we really want employees to feel supported and to feel, that they have people that are looking out for them. And I think a lot of us get into that work wanting to be that person, and then we come into this function and realize that that's not entirely our jobs. And then oftentimes we end up being the enforcers of policies or practices that we don't personally agree with, or that we would like to be done differently if we had our say in it. But a lot of times we don't. We just end up having to do things that the business is looking to do without regards to how it might harm employees, how it might cause trauma. And so when I left that job and I got into consulting, I started realizing that that was the reason that I wanted to approach it externally. And then I started realizing more that I needed to find a different way into the work that felt like it was addressing some of these harms and addressing some of these ways that we can approach this function differently. That is what led me to seminary, and then to becoming a corporate chaplain, which has given me the training and the kind of practicum work in developing some of these concepts and researching some of them. So that's kind of the short version of how I got here.
Thanks for sharing. And I love the 3 words, work shouldn't hurt.
Isn't that great? I want to tattoo it on my forehead.
I was just thinking, like, I want to post that somewhere in my office so everyone sees that, like, work shouldn't hurt.